Hello. Good morning, brothers and sisters. I recently had the opportunity to serve at Royal Family Kids Camp, a camp for children in the foster care system, and I wanted to share a little bit about what God had taught me through that experience. To be honest, when I first signed up, I wasn't entirely sure why I was doing it. I knew I wanted to serve, and my college pastor had been encouraging me to get involved, but I had never really interacted with foster children before. I think part of me wanted to see a perspective of life that I have never experienced. Going into camp, my biggest fear was feeling unprepared. I was anxious about meeting the kids and wondered whether they would even like me. During the months of training, there were times when I questioned whether this was really for me. I remember practicing for camp drama and thinking, maybe I'm not cut out for this. But everything changed when the kids arrived. The moment I saw their faces, their excitement, and their energy, a lot of my anxiety disappeared. I still felt unprepared, but my focus shifted away from myself and toward the children. I just wanted to love them. One thing that struck me was how these children could be so innocent and joyful, yet at the same time carry burdens that many adults have never experienced. I met one boy who is incredibly kind, patient, and loving. Over time, he began sharing parts of his story with me. He talked about being moved from foster home to foster home, being separated from his parents and siblings, and preparing to enter junior high next year. As he shared, I could tell certain topics were painful, so much so that he couldn't even bring himself to say certain words out loud and would spell them instead. I sat there listening and feeling my heart break for him. One moment that stuck with me was when he shared a memory of going fishing with his parents. It was a simple memory, but it reminded me that behind every child is a story, a family, and brokenness that we often cannot see. Another powerful moment was during an activity where the children drew a body outline of themselves, and on the outside of the body, they wrote lies that had been spoken over them, and on the inside, they wrote truth. Some of the lies included things that they had been called and or that they believed about themselves. And as I saw, these lies were easily written. And on the inside, they wrote truths such as, I am a child of God, God loves me, and I am wonderfully made. But these truths for these children took some time to write down, or even didn't know what to write. As I watched one camper write those truths, I found myself speaking them over him. I told him, God loves you. God has a good plan for your life. You are important, and you are loved. What made this camp unlike anything I've ever experienced was that it challenged me mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. There were moments when the kids were excited and affectionate, and there were moments when they were angry, fighting, or crying. And my natural reaction sometimes were frustration or wanting to pull away, but I felt God continually reminding me to respond with patience, grace, and love. One of the greatest blessings of the week was gathering in the morning for prayer. We prayed for specific children, shared burdens, and asked God to work in ways that only He could. Through those prayer times, God taught me an important lesson, that these children ultimately belong to Him. He reminded me that while I may want to fix their situations, His plans are greater. Proverbs 16:1-4 became very meaningful to me throughout the week because it reminded me that the Lord is the one who establishes our steps, and that my role is not to save these children, but rather is to faithfully love them and trust God to continue His work in their lives. The biggest takeaway from camp was simply God loves these kids unconditionally. And when camp ended, I watched the children leave their foster families, and my heart broke, knowing some of the things that they would continue to face. But at the same time, I was reminded that God loves them far more than I ever could. I left camp emotionally exhausted, but incredibly grateful. God used this experience to give me a greater heart for children, a deeper understanding for ministry, and a clearer picture of His unconditional love. And lastly, my prayer is that these children would never forget the truths spoken over them that week, that they are loved, that they are valuable, and that they are children deeply loved by God. Thank you.